My name is Simon LeMay. I'm a Sergeant Major in the Marine Corps, served about 25 years.
When I met Simon during his first deployment, he was fun, he was full life, jokester.
I have had an opportunity to deploy 8 times with combat.
2007, I was in a Humvee that was blown in half, and it was absolutely horrific. But I survived that. The traumatic brain injuries that came along from the multiple IEDs and the different things. I went through a time where I was prescribed medication for a long time for my pain.
In '09, when he came back from his deployment, and that's the deployment where his Sergeant Major lost his legs. Luckily, he survived the incident, but it was very traumatic for Simon.
And Ray's incident created a concussion scenario for me that was pretty detrimental. I was awarded a Purple Heart on that incident with Ray Mackey that day, just because the long-lasting effects of that explosion that took his legs has done a lot to me.
His best friend, a month later, stepped on an IED and passed away.
My pain level was so high that I used alcohol and pills and anything else I could just to get past that. When I crawled under a bed to try and kill myself with a 9mm, I crawled under the bed because it had a nice skirt all the way around to the floor. And I knew that if I made that mess, my girls weren't going to see it under the bed. Lo and behold, God is so powerful that he puts my bride under that bed right next to me, and she's able to stop me from doing that.
I kept holding on to that faith of the glimpses that only I would get to see. So when he was struggling, I knew that person was still in there, but it was just masked and covered by so many different issues and factors going through him. They sent him to inpatient treatment for 2 months and then sent him home. When he came back here, there was no follow-up on any of that. He didn't know how to deal with those raw emotions that he just now exposed. So
at one point, I was sitting on the ground outside of a trailer in camis as a uniformed sergeant major in the rain, crying. My aunt and uncle gave me an opportunity that was just unbelievable to get involved in hyperbarics. Jim Hooker and some different people got involved and helped me and put me in the right direction. And when I took the chance and took the step for hyperbarics, the first thing that happened to me, and I just have to share this, is I struggle with sleep. I have a PTSD issue. I have traumatic brain injury. I have crazy things that go on in my mind, anxiety and depression and all these sort of things I'm trying to get over. And the number one thing that really struggles is your sleep. And if your sleep struggles, you struggle, period. I went and got into the chamber for the first time on a whim. I said, okay, I'm gonna go up here and I'm gonna check it out. And the ladies at Extivita took me through the process and put me in the chamber, and that night I went back to a hotel room on a Friday night and I slept for 13 hours. The first treatment, 13 hours I slept. I got up the next day and I was terrified. I didn't know what had happened, what was going on in my life. And I continued the treatment, and it just got better and better and better.
So far I've done 21 dives. I do 5 a week, obviously, and then that 4 times 5 is 20, and then I had my first one on a Friday. I came in and did my initial dive, so total of 21 dives right now, and yeah.
we were already separated when he did HBOT. He had already left, and I think we were separated about 4 months from then. I knew that he was doing the treatment because throughout our separation, I still spoke to his aunt and uncle, Jim and Cynthia LeMay, and they're the family members who actually got him involved in HBOT. So I would talk to them, find out, how it's going and all that, but really, when he left, I was like, I was doing all this for my family, but now I have no family. My husband's gone. I couldn't help him. I felt very, I guess, inadequate. He had so many issues compounded in so many different years because of his deployments, his amount of deployments.
It was very detrimental for me to leave my wife. It absolutely was detrimental for me to leave my wife because I didn't just leave her, I left those girls. And those girls, we still struggle with that wholeheartedly, but listen, if I wouldn't have taken the time to get myself right, there's a possibility that I could have been a bad person in the presence of my family. And I couldn't live with that. That, me personally. There's an opportunity out there to get out of your sorrow, to get out of your pain, to get out of all the things. Hyperbarics really provided that for me. And the other part that I want to talk about, because vets is so important to us, is that we have a lot of surgeries, we have a lot of injuries, we've been carrying packs, we've been jumping rivers, we've been blown up in vehicles, we've had all martial arts training for, 50-year-old men in the Marine Corps still doing martial arts training. They're still required to have a belt, so that stuff gets hard on our bodies. Hyperbarics gets rid of inflammation. I don't care what anybody says, it gets rid of inflammation. So once you get into hyperbarics and that inflammation in your body starts going down, you go, what? This is pretty awesome. So the hyperbarics literally changed my physical abilities. Once it changed my pain level, my physical abilities, my mind's clarity, I was able to see that, hey, I can do this. I think the biggest thing hyperbarics did for me was gave me confidence. It gave me the confidence to be able to understand that I don't need the pills, I don't need the alcohol, I don't need to be a jerk to my kids. I can love on my dog instead of kicking him. Hyperbarics gave me an opportunity because it started making me feel better. It started making me feel better, and once you feel better, it changes. So family was probably the most important thing, and I struggled. I left Kate really broken, and when I started the treatment and came back, and my wife was really the one that said, oh, who are you? After I started the treatment, and that led to the wonderful relationship that we've continued for years.
Just a couple weeks ago, he went up for a tune-up. We call it his tune-up. It's been a year or so since he'd been up there, and so he just called, made an appointment, went up there, did 5 sessions, came back, and was like, oh, it is amazing. And when people hear me and Simon's story about the separation, getting back together, it's very ironic, and people are like, I can't believe you guys went through all this and you're now sitting where you are 3 years later. HBOT has given us the stepping stones, I guess I can say. It's not going to give you a new car, a new house, a new job, but it's going to enhance your life to make you enjoy the things that you have.
And hyperbarics really gave me my life back.